A chat with Glendora, a show for living right. A chat with Glendora makes your day so bright. Words of inspiration, jokes to make you smile. Come relax and chat with Glendora for a while.
Hi folks, you've heard of the TV show 60 Minutes? Well, the name of this show is 30 Seconds. The next time you go to the supermarket, will you bypass the meat counter and go to the frozen food cases and load up your grocery cart with veggie meats? Hamburger, chicken, turkey, ham. 89 years old, no doctors, no medicine, and my cat is vegan too. Hi folks, you've heard of the TV show 60 Minutes? Well, the name of this show is 30 Seconds. The next time you go to the supermarket, will you bypass the meat counter and go to the frozen food cases and load up your grocery cart with veggie meats? Hamburger, chicken, turkey, ham. 89 years old, no doctors, no medicine, and my cat is vegan too. Hi folks, you've heard of the TV show 60 Minutes? Well, the name of this show is 30 Seconds. The next time you go to the supermarket, will you bypass the meat counter and go to the frozen food cases and load up your grocery cart with veggie meats? Hamburger, chicken, turkey, ham. 89 years old, no doctors, no medicine, and my cat is vegan too.
This year, so.
Now, I get the impression that you really are no longer a resident of Malaysia.
Yeah, I don't really feel as much like it anymore. Like next winter would be the same, I think.
Yeah.
But then like every year after that, it becomes I'm like less sure of what happens.
Then the prospect of your working for Chat with Glendora, like as you have, will
I'm just
be
like
the same?
It'll be for
Sort of
like
the same.
at least for the first year. I think it would be pretty similar.
Okay, so we don't have to worry beyond 2018.
Yeah.
Now let me.
And I likely won't even get in this year. So.
Now I get the impression that you really are no longer a resident of Malaysia.
Yeah, I don't really feel as much like it anymore. I mean, it's definitely still like home in a way, but it's like
Visiting home.
It's my family home. It's not my
That's right.
individual.
It's not living home. It's visiting home.
Yeah.
And it looks like you have fled the nest, so to speak.
Yeah. I mean, there's like aren't really a lot of opportunities for me around this area.
Okay.
Like, it's just how it is. Like, I just can't get the experience that I need to do like the programs that I would really want to do most in the capital region. Like,
Then it would be reasonable for me to find somebody here to take care of the museum and to take care of the die instructions.
I think like having another person on board who's closer.
Somebody who lives in the area.
I think it would be helpful. Yeah.
That'd be all right with you.
Yeah.
You can still help, but let them be the main person to take care of everything.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. I mean, like, because if I am only home for a couple weeks out of the year, that might not be getting as much attention as you would like it. So.
Well, it
someone
isn't
who I
that,
can
it's the
coordinate
distance, it's geography.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's a matter of geography.
That just makes it hard to get back here.
No, I mean, it just isn't viable. It just isn't viable.
Yeah.
Okay, then it's all right with you.
I mean, it's your decision in the end, but I'm
Yeah, well, you can
fine.
always help, but we really need somebody here.
Yeah.
Okay, would you get that? Now, would you explain to the folks what your responsibility is with the Glendora Franklyn Museum for the preservation of the pro se public access newspaper record? When Glennie goes to heaven, what are you going to do for the museum?
Oh, the museum has to be watched over and maintained, and it's the storage facility of a lot of your records and archives, and a lot of your public access work, your DVD work there, and it's not really a small task. It's kind of a big undertaking, and but the museum has a lot of things there, and they all have to be. We have to know. We have to, if we want to go find something, we have to know where it is, and we have an index for the columns of storage containers, and I've gone over the index and all the containers there, and I've done a lot of work at the museum. I went and I painted. We did a lot of painting there a couple months ago. Painted it in a colorful fashion, and I'm not sure if anybody's seen that or not, but it's a big job. There's a lot of things there in the museum, so.
Well, when you're here alone without Glendora, you're going to come up one day every week, aren't you? Gregory lives in Poughkeepsie.
Yeah.
An hour and a half from here south, Route 9. You're going to come up one day a week, and you're going to visit the museum, examine it, and if anything needs repair, either you're going to repair it or you're going to hire somebody to repair it.
Yeah.
And you're going to see that it's neat and tidy and stable and safe.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Neat, tidy, and stable. That's it. So.
And you're to be paid $50 for that job.
Yeah.
That one day. And you're going to take care of the Lincolns.
Yeah.
The 1980 Lincoln Mark VI Continental and the town car. The 80 is 3 cars: the Lincoln, the town car, and the Continental. And then you're going to take care of the 1993 Lincoln.
Yes. Yeah.
And just generally make sure that it's safe. And if anybody wants to see anything in the museum, and it may be possible because it's also a video history of what has happened in Nassau Village in the last 6 years. And if anybody wants to see anything in the museum, you're going to stay right there with them.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
let them see it. But nothing is to exit the museum.
Yeah. No, that's it. I can. Yeah, I can. I'll take care of it and watch over everything, and as far as that goes, and yeah, like you said, I'll come up once a week and to check on it and to oversee it and all, and take care of something needs to be taken care of. I could take care of it. So.
What was that?
If something needs to be done or taken care of, I could take care of it with either the museum or the 2 Lincolns, the 2 cars. Yeah.
In addition to being paid $50 for that trip, you are to receive $40 for the gasoline
Yeah.
in your vehicle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that a lot. Yeah.
Now, who is to pay you? Well, the comptroller, the treasurer of the Glendora Franklyn Living Trust is Sue Casey St. Pierre, who is a neighbor. 3 houses from here. We're 45A, she is 39. And she has the cash to pay you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And you will sign a receipt as always.
Yes, yeah.
Now, you, in addition to all that, you have been paid an amount of money, a huge amount of money, in advance for your care of the museum as the chief archivist.
Yeah,
Do you know how much money that is you have been paid?
I think in advance, maybe it's over. I think it's over $2,000. I think.
Oh, it's over 3.
Is it over 3 or is it?
Yeah, it's 3,560.
Uh huh.
You have been paid in advance to be the archivist.
All right, so
You're
yeah,
to be paid for that weekly trip, and in addition to that, holding down the museum, you're the archivist.
yeah.
Hopefully, how old are you?
Old. 50. I'm 56.
You're 56.
Yeah, I just turned 56.
So you're going to last until 89?
Yeah, I hope to. I hope to. So.
Another thing that you must do, is you must find a successor.
For me, right? Is that
Yeah.
it for me?
Because you're not going to live forever.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll have to. We'll have to do that. So.
Find a young successor.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of them around here, you know, like Carrie McLean, Sandy's daughter.
Yeah.
She would be a very good one, and she's very experienced with the archivist, and she would take the responsibility, and she would get the payment. And then Sue has to find a successor controller.
Yeah.
Austin is, his primary residence is no longer Valatia, which is the next 2 towns down, North Chatham and Valatia. He is tied up in Boston. He's a young man. He's leaving the nest. He's starting his career as a clinical psychologist. He's looking for a graduate school that will give him a fellowship for his next 6-7 years to get his PhD. So he has really left Valatia. He comes to visit his parents and his brother. But he's really out. He can always help. He's been a grand trustee. Actually, he was the Franklyn and I are the founder trustees, the initial trustees. Austin had it for a while, a few other people had it for a while, and now it's gone to Gregory and Sue Casey St. Pierre. Austin is welcome to help, but he just isn't here enough. And it requires somebody to be here. Anything else you want to say about the trusteeship, the Living Trust of Glendora Franklyn Living Trust for the preservation of the pro se public access newspaper museum? Is there anything else you want to say?
Anything else? No, I think it's it's very clear as my understanding of it, and we've taken steps, and we've put things in writing, and we've written down the procedure, and what your wish is, and I'm prepared to fill my end of the part of it, so I'm prepared for that. So,
Very well stated.
Yeah, and
Very well stated.
and the museum is has a lot of records, and a lot of things that you've retained over the years, and we can definitely take care of that. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Gregory. I'm glad to have that all settled. It makes me very happy, and I appreciate your input.
Yeah. No problems.
Before we leave the subject, I would like to explain to you the 3 terms: pro se, public access.
At the time when your spirit leaves your body there, that's when it's all spelled out, and the contents, you want a lot of the contents of the happy house to go to the museum.
Oh yes, tell them about that.
And
He has a truck. Gregory has a
Excuse me.
truck. And I bet you there's only 1 truckload here, don't you?
well, maybe a good truckload, but a lot of the material and the fixtures of the happy house, you want them to be set up in the museum, right?
Yeah.
And I'll at the right time we'll take steps to move things to the museum. And,
Thank you for bringing that up.
take care
I
of
had
that.
forgotten that.
And it's all set up in the index where you want things to be, and the desk or the electronics bench and all that, and
Right behind you, this is the electronics bench.
and surely all the books and the archives and materials and all that. You want to save all that. So yeah.
We have been very careful over the years never to bring anything into Happy House 3 that will not, when it's all taken out, will not fit in the museum. Everything here will fit in the museum.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I enjoyed that and I appreciate that, and I thank you all. All of us together now. This is not just Glendora and Gregory and Sue. It's all of us together. The museum is for everybody. The career of public access television is for everybody, and also broadcast television. We didn't count the years that I was in broadcast television, which would be 1953 up until the present.
Is death. Death is your soul saying to you, we need a new body. Come on, let's go. On, insert date, the spirit left the body of Glendora Vesta Folsom Buell. She held the world title for the longest running public access television show, and it is still going. 65 stations, 65 TV stations, Boston to San Diego. 11,497 TV shows. Nobody challenges her claim that she was the longest running television performer, both broadcast TV and cable TV, and it's still going, 1953 to 2017. For 20 years, she triumphed in the courts for the public's right to access to television. NBC, ABC, and CBS stole the public's airways and made billions. The government could not stop them, but now we have public access television. She sued a dozen or more cable TV operations for limiting and prohibiting public access television. She sued as a pro se, no lawyers. Plaintiff has a statutory right to be on TV and must be returned to TV. Her venue was municipal courts, county courts, state courts, Supreme Courts, appellate courts, courts of appeals, and even the U.S. Supreme Court. When they denied the public's right to TV, she sued over 36 judges for perjury of oath, not upholding the Constitution of the United States. Glendora was in broadcast television 1953 to 1962. Glendora and her picture party, Pittsfield, Massachusetts, WMGT, Channel 74. SS Glendora on Channel 9, WMUR TV, Manchester, New Hampshire, WBZ TV, SS Glendora, sponsored by the Milton Bradley Company, SS Glendora on General Electric on Channel 6 Albany, and Glendora and Satellite 6. She still hears from the children who loved her and still love her, many of whom are now around 70 years old. A graduate student in physics at the State University of New York at Buffalo, she went to the university to learn about the universe. To her, that is God. When asked by her application to Harvard Summer School to study Calculus 2, "What is your reason for attending?" she wrote, "Nescience." This was the summer Neil Armstrong said, "A great step for mankind." From 1972 to 1974, Glendora was program manager for 4 cable TV systems: Lackawanna, Buffalo, Maine Cable TV in Bangor, Valley Cable Television in Kenosha, Connecticut, and Colonial TV, Glen Falls, New York. She hopped from Sony Porta Pack to 3/4 inch U-matic to 8mm to VHS, mini DV, SD card, DVD-R, and now struggles with computer uploading and high definition. In 1995, it was a year of telling jokes and interviewing at women's groups. Here she found that her jokes elicited happy laughter. Lighting up faces became a gratification period. She estimates her collection of jokes to be around 700. I've told jokes for 40 years and watched them make people laugh. That is why I can tell jokes on TV into a camera without having to hear a laugh to know they are good. This is something Bob Hope, her model, could not do. He was devastated when the joke did not elicit a laugh. Glendora's family often told jokes, which got her started early. She included them in her court papers and always stopped for an interval of jokes when reporting legal papers of her lawsuits on television. You could be with her for 2 years and hear a joke a day without a repeat. In 1976, she telephoned New York, New England Apple Institute and said, "You can have 10 30-second ads on the NBC Today show in New York with store tags, A&P, and Finast for $10,000, including airtime and production of the commercial." Earnestly, she explained she had to be paid up front because the reason she could come in at such a low price was she did not have to spend time collecting payment. These people, Macintosh Apples, had wanted to penetrate the vast New York market, the 5 boroughs, Long Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, Westchester, Rockland, and Dutchess, for years, but could not afford the astronomical cost of TV advertising. The $10,000 came in the mail. The job was consummated. 1976, Glendora had 2 minutes live on Channel 5, Metro Media, New York, Metropolitan Market. It was a minute of jokes, usually 10 of them, and a minute commercial for Bohack supermarkets. It followed Bill Boggs' interview of famous Hollywood stars. It was titled Glendora, a cheerful look at the news. This was one of the tiniest TV shows ever, 2 minutes. Soon after, Channel 5 was purchased by Rupert Murdoch as Fox News. Glendora continued her call to find a local New York TV station, Channel 2 or 4 or 5 or 7 or 9 or 11, to enlighten their 6 p.m. news with 2 minutes of Glendora, a cheerful look at life, goodwill, good laughter. She did sell a 30-second version of it to Xerox, Texaco, Maxwell House Coffee, Polaroid Land Camera, and Quaker Oats. 4 jokes with the tag, "This 30 seconds of good cheer was brought to you by Quaker Oats." When Glendora hired Harrison New York Cablevision to edit a commercial for WCBS TV in Manhattan, the operator erased another commercial that was done for WPIX TV, Manhattan. Glendora asked Cablevision for $350 to replace the damage. Cablevision refused. Glendora sued pro se in the Harrison court. The judge awarded Glendora $350. Cablevision appealed. Alone, the minutes of the court trial would cost $500. This began 20 years in the courts suing cable companies, apartment owners, lawyers, judges, and clerks. This consumed time, energy, and money from Glendora TV ads. Glendora's A Cheerful Look at Life and Glendora Careers Unlimited. In 2007, after 20 years of corrupt judges and clerks and lawyers, she exited the courts as dismally dysfunctional. One of her last lawsuits was against the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, the international bankers et al. What was the gravamen? They robbed her of America. In 2007, Glendora turned her back on the courts and filled her TV shows with the mysticism of Buddha Gautama, Brother Lawrence, and Jesus the Christ. Her textbook was Men Who Have Walked with God by Sheldon Chaney, from the reading list of her high school English teacher, Edwin E. Smith, at Classical High School, Springfield, Mass. 70 years ago.
All right.
She resided in Presque Isle, Lincoln, and Bangor, Maine, Springfield, Mass., Hollywood, California, Pittsfield, Mass., Schenectady, Buffalo, East Chester, Scarsdale, Harrison, White Plains, New Rochelle, Mount Vernon, Stanfordville, Chatham, Kinderhook, and Nassau, New York. Her latest creative effort to television, she explains, "You have heard of the TV show 60 Minutes? Well, I have a TV show called 30 Seconds. It is the world's tiniest TV show. She uploads it every day on YouTube, Facebook Friends, Facebook Public Figure, and Twitter. Circa 1,000 people view it each week. A Chat with Glendora has been a kaleidoscope of metamorphoses. For 2 years, she saw that God was helping others, that we are all together, continuous with each other, joyfully keeping the universe growing and growing. She puts this on hiatus to complete the documentary initiated by Victoria's 2010 chronology of A Chat with Glendora, launched in 1972, an account parallel with the history of public access TV in America. Yours in truth, Gloria Hake.